All in.
Oh my god!
That is disgusting. Poor Tommy.
Tommy's never gonna come back ever again.
Pause it right there. That's me. This isn't my first time on stream. Last time I played, I had the biggest loss of my poker career. This week, I'm back. Same lights, same stakes, but this time, I've got something to prove.
Bet it on me, let it ride. Broke white boy, put it all on the line. Lucky me, lit the Sin City on fire. Money on the floor, watch it double 10 times. Bet it on me, let it ride.
Alright guys, this session starts with the 2-5 livestream game at Best Bets Live Jacksonville. Today, we got a mission. Today, we need the win so bad. Let's get into it. First hand of the session, we opened to $30 under the gun with pocket tens. Dawn on the button calls, so we heads up to a flop of 9-7-3 with 2 spades. Single raise pot, out of position. This board is gonna be overstepped, so I like to check it over and he bets $60 into 67. What is his range now? He chooses a big size on the flop, about to pot size bet, so I think he has some strong hands like 2 pairs, sets, or some combo draws. If he chooses a small size, I would prefer to check raise here, but since he chooses big size, I elect to call and see how the turn develops. Turns a deuce of clubs, we check it over and he checks it back. So what is his range when he checks back the turn? 2 pairs are not checking back, sets are not checking back, so I think he got hands like 9x or 7x or some 1 pair type hand. Since the ace comes on the river, I don't think those type of hands will call a big amount, so I may bet $100 to fold out 9x or 7x, so I size down to $50, but unfortunately he folds and he got 6-4 suited, which is a combo draws on the flop. Second hand here, Mike opens to $20 from the hijack and we look down at ace-king offsuit in the cutoff. We bump it up to 80 and Johannes on the button 4-bet to 200s. Mike folds actions on us. I think Johannes had the lowest VPIP in the games. Normally he's somewhere around 20% VPIP, so I think he have a strong range here. Versus a more aggro or splashy player, I may elect to go 5-bet shove here, but versus him, I elect to just call his 4-bets because his range is so strong. Has up to a flop of king 9-4 with 2 hearts. I check and he checks it back. Turns a 6 of clubs, so what is his range? I don't think on a king high board ace king is checking, aces is checking, so I think his range is pocket queens, pocket jacks. So how much would I bet to fold out pocket queens or pocket jacks here? Actually, I don't think pocket queens is folding to 1 bet, so I go for 275 into 427, but he folds and he got pocket jacks. In the next hand, hijack limp, we look down at king 7 offsuit on the button and we ISO to 40. We were on the big blind calls, hijack folds, so we heads up to a flop of 10, 10, 9 with 2 clubs. He checks it over in a single raise pot. I'm betting small. I bet 30 into 87 and he calls. Turns an ace of hearts. He checks, so what is his range? I think on this top card pairing board, he can have some trips slow playing the flop. He can have some 9x. He can have some pocket pairs. He can have flush draws, straight draws all over the place. So when the ace arrives on the turn, I would like to bet small again to cap him from having trips to set up a possible bluff on the river. So I bet 50 into 147, about 1/3 size, and he calls. River's a 6 of spades. He checks, so what is his range again? When he calls a small size on the turn, he doesn't have 10x. He could have some ace-x, some 9x, and also I think our hand has some showdown value versus flush draws or straight draws. So actually I think we got 2 options here. Check back to realize our showdown value or bet huge to fold out everything but a 10 because he doesn't really have 10x calling out small size on the turn. So at that time I elect to check it back, taking our showdown value, but actually I think bluffing huge here to fold out everything to get a range fold is probably a better option. We check it back and he shows a6 of clubs and he wins.
It's coaching time.
This is certainly an interesting ISO. What's your thoughts on the turn here?
I want him to raise 10x And also still charge some values of his flush draws.
And then you go to the river after he calls on the turn and you just think you have showdown value here. Let me ask you this, sir. Let's say you check back the turn. What does he come out and do on the river if he has a 10?
He's going to bet big.
What does he come out and do on the river if he's got a brick draw?
He's going to bet small.
What does he come out and do on the river if he has an ace?
He's going to bet.
He's just gonna bet.
He's gonna bet big too.
You think an ace gonna bet big on the river?
I think so because here's a top pair and I don't have an ace when I check back the turn.
When this guy comes out and bets small on the river, what do?
I call.
When he comes out and bets big on the river, what do?
Fold or raise.
The thing is here, by checking back the turn, we still get 2 streets against his bluffs because they're gonna bluff on the river. And then we only lose 1 street against his 10x and ace-x.
Next hand here, Ken limps in the hijack and we look down at pocket kings in the cutoff. We ISO to 40, Ken calls, so we heads up to a flop of 8-7-3 rainbow. Interestingly, he donks $50 into 87. Usually when a player donks in a heads up pot, they are full of shit, so I don't want to raise to fold out his trash, so I put in a call, turns another 8 of diamonds, pairing the board. And interestingly, he checks it over. So what is his range? I think if he happens to have an 8, he won't stop betting on the turn, so he can have some 7-8, some straight draws. His range is pretty weak, so I bet 60, about a 1/3 pot size, and he calls. River's a 6 of hearts. He checks it over, his range is still very weak. I don't want to go back here to fold out a 7, so I bet 100 into 300s, targeting 1 pair type hand to call, but he folds and he got ace-9 suited. In this hand, Mike opened to 20 from the low jack and we look down at pocket 5s in the hijack. Versus a recreational player with some reg behind me, I would like to do a 3-bet here isolating him. And because he's not that deep and we don't really have a very strong hand, so I won't 3-bet big. I just 3-bet to $50. Everybody else get out of the way. Mike calls, has up the flop of king, jack, 3. I bet 30 into 100. He calls, turns the 3 of hearts. He checks it over, so what is his range? I think he got some king X, some jack X, and probably hands like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, pocket 8s is calling my small bets on the turn. So on the turn, I would like to choose a size to fold out everything but a king, because with the stack depth, I don't think I can fold out king on the river. So I would like to go back to bluff on the turn, and if he calls, I would just shut down, giving up on the river. So I put in 175, a little bit over bets to target him folding out everything except a king. But surprisingly, he moves all in for 540 effective. We snap fold and he had king 10 offsuit. In this hand, Don opened to 30 in the hijack and we look down at pocket kings in the small blind. We 3-bet to 150 and he 4-bet to 375. Don is not a very aggressive player. When he puts in a 4-bet, he's not around. He gotta have a good hand, so I think it's close between shoving or calling. Given that he puts in about 25% of his stack in the pot, actually I don't really think he would fold to a shove. Because when I have ace king in my range, he gotta call with pocket queens, pocket jacks, or even pocket 10s. So in game, I like to move all in about 1.4k effective. He tanks. Please call. Please call, we needed that double up, Don. But eventually, he finds a fold and he got JJ Barea. Maybe we shouldn't put in a 5-bet shove.
It's coaching time.
Say it.
Pocket kick, please.
Against guys who, like, if they put in 33 or 40% of their stack or whatever, fine. I have 5 bets because they suck. 25% of their stack. I just don't have 5 bets because we don't really want to 5-bet anything for value except aces. Looks real strong, especially to someone who has like a pulse. That's like my delineation, Tommy. If they can breathe out of their nose, then no 5-bet range. If they're struggling to breathe, I just 5-bet aces.
All right, moving on to the next hand. The straddle's on, cutoff calls, and we look down at 9-7 suited on the button. We make it to 60. Drew calls in early position. We has up to a flop of 9-4-3 with 2 2 diamonds. He checks in a single raise pot. I'm going to range bet small. I bet 60 into 137 and he calls. Turns a 4 of clubs pairing the board. When he checks it over, he can have some straight draws, some flush draws, some 9x, some 1 pair type hand. So on this turn, I think our hand is kind of showdown value. We don't have a decent kicker, but there is still value. There is still some draws that we can target. So I bet 75 into 257. If he calls, then we gonna check back the river. But eventually, he folds and he got Queen Jack offsuit. The straddle's on, we open to 50 from the hijack with Queen 8 suited. August in a small blind call has up to a flop of King 7 deuce rainbow. He checks, we bet 50 into 115 and he calls. Turns an ace of diamonds. He checks it over, so what is his range? When he flats on a small blind, he got a lot of pocket pairs, some Broadway suited or offsuit, some A6 suited. So on this turn, I think he got a lot of King X, hence like King Queen, King Jack, King 10. I would like to choose the bigger size that a king would call, and I know he's going to fold all his King X on the river, so I go 250 into 215. He thinks for a while and put in a call. River's a 5 of spades, nothing really changed on the board. He checks it over, and now it's time for the big boy bluff. We move all in about 1k effective into 700s. He tanks and tanks. Please fold, August. Please fold. And eventually he picks up a chips and mucks his hand. Whew. And he had King Queen suited. We got this through, but looking back on this hand now, actually I prefer a small bet on the turn, because actually on this dry and static flop, he will slow play with pocket 7s or pocket deuces, and also he could have hit some 2 pairs on the turn like A7, Ace deuce, which won't raise to a big size on the turn, but they will raise if we choose a small size. So if he calls our small size on the turn, he is definitely capped. But if I choose a big size on the turn like what I did in this hand, his sets and 2 pairs will not raise. Big pot alert. Mike opened to 25 from early position. I saw him racing to 20 after 20 after 20, and this hand he chose a bigger size, and we look down at JJ Barea right behind him. Because he chooses a slightly bigger opening size, that means he has a stronger range, I think. So I like to flat here with our pocket jacks, and surprisingly drew on the button 3-bet to 80. So several things going on here. Mike is not that strong because he just called the 3-bet. He doesn't have pocket queens, he doesn't have kings or aces. Several hands before Mike won a big pot from Drew, so I think Drew is kind of tilted. He's going after Mike for sure, and by his 3-betting size, $80, I think he's full of shit. So I think about 99% of the time, we got the best hand here. I think putting in a 4-bet will just fold out every trash that they got. So I like to trap here with JJ Barea. Don't fail us, JJ. 3 ways to a flop of 5-3 deals with 2 hearts. We check it over to Drew, who bets 155 into 250. Mike folds, easy call for us, not much reason to raise to fold out his trash. So we are heads up to the turn, which comes a 10 of clubs. We check, and he big bets 400 into 550. By his 3-betting size, he doesn't have a good hand. With the table dynamic, he doesn't have a good hand neither. So I put in a call hoping for a clean river, and river's a 9 of diamonds. Frontal flush draw missed, we are still an overpair, pretty good. We check it over and he moves all in for 800 into 1400s. Everything's according to our plan. He's bluffing with a weekend. That's what I think. So stick to the plan. I put in a call and he shows 6-4 offsuit. We are right. He got a 6 high. We take the pot down. Why the dealer is pushing the pot to him? We got pocket jacks, right? Whoa! He flopped the nuts with 6-4 offsuit? What the what a wonderful trap by us. Anyway, moving to the next hand here. The straddle's on. Drew opens again to $40 from the low jack. We are coming after you, Drew. We need to take the money back. Mike calls in the small blind, and we looked at a jack 9 suited on the big blind. It's a favorite hand of my friend's. His name is Little White. He's losing his hair now, so you guys please pray for him. We put in a call 3 ways to a flop of jack, jack, deuce. We check it over to Drew, who bets 80 into 130. Small blind folds. We put in a call, turns a queen of clubs. We check it over to him again, and he bets $155 into 300s. About a half pot size bet. I don't think we should be raising here, because what is his range? If he has a bluff, we raise and he will just fold. If he has a value hand, we raise, he will get squeamish. So I put in a call and rivers a 5 of diamonds. So first, I don't think this player is value betting thinly enough on the river. His pocket aces or pocket kings may check back the river. So actually, I like to lead out here. Targeting queen x, pocket kings, or pocket aces. I bet 400s into 600s. Actually, I think I should go bigger, because if I want to fold out pocket aces here, I may need to go 1,000. So probably I can go bigger, like pot size 600s. But anyway, he thinks for a while and put in a call. We show our hand, of course we're good, and he got 6-5 offsuit, referring a pair, and that's why we don't want to raise the flop, and that's why we don't want to raise the turn. You got me? Huge pot alert! So this hand, Don opened to 30 in the low jack. Hijack calls. We look down at the worst hand in poker, pocket aces, and we 3-bet to 150. And now Luke in the big blind 4-bet to 400s. So who is Luke? He's new to the stream game. When he steps on the stage, he said big pot alert to me. And it's literally the first hand he plays on this stream. He just sat down and he puts in a 4-bet when I have aces. Haha, you are getting unlucky, Luke. But look, Don moves all in for 1.7k effective. Wow. One player just 4-bet and another player puts in a 5-bet shove when we got aces? What a dream! So what we are going to do now? Yeah, put on a Hollywood show. I'm just acting, tanking a little bit. Of course, we're not snapping here. We need to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but we still need to put in the money anyway. So we tank for a little bit and put in a call. And Luke says he got pocket kings and he's not going to fold. The biggest part of the night. I need this one, Poker God. Please hold. Flop comes 9-7 deals with 2 diamonds. Turns a 9, rivers an 8. Don has ace king, Luke has kings, and we scooped. Give me my money. Alright, after the crazy part, the game is getting out of control, so we move up to play 5-10. We keep getting big hands. We look down at Freddie McCurry in early position, and I raise it up to 50. August calls on the button, and Don raise it up to 200 in the small blind. We just stacked him. Normally when we are that, the pocket queens is flat in position. But given that, I think he is a little bit tilted after losing the big pot, so I think he's 3-bet lighter. So actually in this spot, in this scenario, my pocket queens is pretty ahead. And also, even if we put in the 4-bets here, I don't think he is voting because he just wants to get his money back so bad. So I elect to 4-bets here to 500s. August folds and Don calls. 4-bet pot heads up to a flop of 9-8-7. He checks it over. I bet 250, targeting pocket jacks, pocket tens, or even ace king or ace queen to call. And surprisingly, he check raised to 900s. So what is his range? He can have pocket nines, pocket eights, pocket sevens, but also I can see he is check raising very aggressively in this dynamic. He could be check raising any 10x, hands like ace 10, king 10. And on the other hand, we can just call very light right here because he would just tell us what he got on the turn by his sizing. So we put in a call and turns the worst card in the deck, the 6 of clubs. It's a one-liner to straight now. Any 10 would make a straight. The pot is now 2.8k and he shoves 4.3k effective. What the hell? I don't think a set is playing this way. He's not shoving his pocket 9s, pocket 8s in this spot, so I'm 100% sure that he got a straight here. So all we have to do is to fold, and look, he got ace 10 offsuit. That's why I decided to put in a 4-bet and call his check raise on the flop, but we got unlucky. Alright, last hand of this session. Drew opened the 35 from the low jack and we looked at Freddie Mercury again in the big blind. We bump it up to 160. Drew calls, heads up the flop of king jack 8 with 2 spades. Out of position, 3-bet pot. Our hand is a thin value, so we check it over to him who checks it back. Turns an 8 of clubs, so what is his range? I think if he got king X, he would definitely bet on the flop, so the best hand he could have is jack X, and he got some pocket pairs like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, pocket 7s, so I would like to choose a size to target that portion of his range, and I bet 200s into 325. He calls, rivers a 3 of spades, so we check it over to him. If he puts in a small bet, he may have some busted backdoor flush draw. I would bluff catch, and if he puts in a big bet, I would probably fold because he got a flush, I guess. But after we check it over to him, he checks it back, we show our hand, we are good, and he got pocket 4s. Hey guys, second day in Best Bets Jacksonville's done. Today we still play at the 2-5 live stream game, and as you see, Poker God still loves me. When I needed it the most, bang! It delivers. Anyway, including the off-stream game, we played for 7 hours and was up $1,000 eventually. We lost a bunch of money here in Jacksonville, but I'm going to put in the hours and work and we'll get that money back. So Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next episode. Alright, second session in this episode, and we're playing 2-5 at Orange City Racing and Card Club. So let's get started. We open to $25 in low jack with king 10 offsuit. Small blind calls, heads up to a flop of 8-8-7 rainbow. He checks it over, single raise pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet 25 into 50 and he calls. Turns a 6 of diamonds. He checks it over. On this top card pairing board, if he happens to have an 8, sometimes they will just slow play even versus a small size on the flop. So on this turn, I would like to bet small again to recap him. If he calls, that means he doesn't have an 8, he doesn't have full houses, he doesn't have a straight. So I bet 25 into 100, he calls, rivers an ace of hearts, he checks it over. I think there is no break walls here. I can just go as big as possible to get a range fold, so I bet 2x pot, $300 into 150. We get it done. He folds and he said he got 6-7 offsuit. Next hand here, low jack opened to $15 and we looked down at ace 8 suited on the button. With 3-bet to 60, he calls, heads up to a flop of ace-7 deuce with 2 diamonds. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm just going to range bet small. I bet 50 into 122 and he calls. Turns the queen of hearts. We have the backdoor nut flush draw now. He checks it over, so what is his range? When he calls our small bets on the flop, he doesn't have pocket 7, he doesn't have 2 pairs like ace-7, ace deuce, so he can have some ace-X, he can have some other pairs like pocket 10s, pocket jacks that are calling 1 bet. So on this turn, actually he got some 2 pairs like ace queen. And for our hand, we don't have a really strong kicker, but we picked up the backdoor flush draw equity. So if we bet here and get raised, our life sucks. So I elect to check it back to realize our equity on the river. And river's a 6 of hearts. We bang the nut flush. He checks it over, so what is his range? If he also has a flush, I expect he would just lead on this river, so he doesn't have a flush, and the best hand he could have is ace X. So how much would I bet here to fold out an ace? Probably I need to go pretty big, like 400s or 350, so I size down to 300s. He puts in a call, we table our hand, and we are good. Next hand here, we open the 25 on the hijack with ace-10 offsuit. Cut off and big blind calls, so we're 3 ways to a flop of 6-6-4 with 2 clubs. Big blind checks, we bet 30. Only the cutoff call, so we're heads up to the turn, which comes a 9 of spades. I think our hand has some showdown value here versus some straight draws, flush draws, so I like to check it over. And he checks it back. River's a 10 of clubs. We hit our top pair, but the frontal flush gets there. So what is his range when he checks back the turn? I think if he has overpairs like pocket 10s or 9x, he would bet the turn. So when he checks back the turn, I think he got some showdown value hands like pocket 8s, pocket 7s, or some pocket 5s. And also, he can have a lot of flush draws that completes on the river. So on this river, I would like to value bet small here, targeting some weaker 10x, some under pairs to call. I bet 30 into 130, and he calls. We show our hand and he tables king jack of clubs. He hit a king high flush on the river, but he didn't raise even if we chooses the small size. So what does that mean? That means he is very under bluff when he raise. So we can just LL fold a lot even if we have a strong hand facing his raise, because 99% of the time he just got the nuts. In this hand, under the gun open to 20, low jack calls. We look down at JJ Barea on the button and we bump it up to 100. Only the low jack calls, so we're heads up to a flop of ace-6-3 rainbow. He checks it over, normally in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm just range betting small, but this player, he's kind of shallow and he plays face up. So for our hand here, I think it's a showdown value, a 2 street value hand. So I like to check it back to let him give us more info on the turn. Turns a 9 of hearts, and he leads $150 into 222. What is his range? I don't think he is betting that big with 9x. I don't think he is betting that big with pocket 10s or any other pair, so he gotta have an ace here. But I was dumb in that moment. I put in a call. If I could redo this, I would just snap fold our hand, and the rivers are full of clubs, and he moves all in for $300 effective into 522. Of course, he got an ace, and we just fold. So I really hate myself putting in the call on the turn, which is just never good. Alright, in the next hand, EP Leams, we ISO in the big blind with ace-8 suited to $30. He calls, heads up to a flop of ace, king, queen with 2 spades. Out of position, we got a top pair, but our kicker is not that good, so I like to check it over to him and he checks it back. Turns an 8 of clubs, giving us a 2 pair. So I elect to go 60 here, targeting flush draws and 1 pair type hand to call. He puts in a call and rivers a blank, a 5 of diamonds. And now I would like to go big, targeting ace-x to call. I bet $275 into 177. And surprisingly, he moves all in for $510 effective. Haha. We got a 2 pair here, only a 2x raise, so we put in a call, and he tables ace queen offsuit, which he didn't bet the flop with a 2 pair. Oh, we lost this little one. In this hand, under the gun Limbs, an alumni of Hungry Horse Poker open to 30 in early position, and we look down at ace-jack suited right behind him. We're on a low jack, we put in a call, hoping to invite more players to the party, but unfortunately under the gun folds, so we actually heads up to the flop of queen 10-3 rainbow. He checks, so what is his range? For this alumni, I think he's just range checking out of position to us, so I range back it back and turns a bang. The king of spades. We have the nuts now. He checks it over. I'm not checking here with the nuts anymore. In fact, I bet 2x pot, $125 into 67. I'm targeting king x, queen x, and I don't think those hands are folding to me. And he puts in a call, which is very good for us. And the rivers and 8 of diamonds are pretty blank. He checks, so what is his range? I think if he happens to have some hands like ace king, king queen, king 10, 10 or even king jack. He may not fold even versus a big size from me. So in game, I like to put in a 2x pot again. I bet 600 into 300. He thinks for a while, but unfortunately this time he folds. Second last hand of the session, hijack open to 10 and we look down at king queen offsuit on the button. With 3-bet to 50, hijack calls, heads up to a flop of 6-5 deals rainbow. I would like to start by range betting small. I bet $30 into 100 and he calls. Turns a 7 of spades. He checks it over, so what is his range? He got some 6x, some 5x, some straight draws on the flop, or even some 2 overs. So on this turn, completing some flushes, some 2 pairs, I would like to bet small again to recap him. I bet 40 into 160 and he calls. River's a 4 of diamonds. Wow, there are so many tricks out there. When he checks it over, I don't think it's a profitable spot to bluff. I can't really find a range to target to fold out, so I just give up and check it back. And he tables a jack high with a flush draws, and we got lucky and win this hand eventually. Last hand of the session, and we open to $30 from early position with ace-6 suited. Cutoff calls heads up to a flop of queen, queen 5 with 2 spades. We have the nut flush draw now. We check it over to him and he bets $25. So what is his range? I think on this kind of wet board, if he happens to have a queen, he would bet bigger. So he got many showdown value hands like pocket 9s, pocket 8s, some 1-pair type hands. So I would like to put in a check raise here to give pressure to those hands. I raise it up to 150 and he just folds. Hey guys, wrapping up the yesterday session and we play for 4 hours and I win $29. I mean, it's a good session, but I don't really feel like playing. My body is tired, my brain is not working very well, so I call it a day earlier. Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco, and I'll see you guys in the next session. Alright, last session in this episode. First hand here under the gun limbs. We ISO to $30 from the low jack with ace-10 offsuit. Hijack button under the gun call. 4 ways to a flop of 10-4-3 with 2 clubs. We have a top pair with the top kicker. Under the gun checks, actions on us. We check it over, hijack checks also, and now button moves all in for 322 into 122. Under the gun folds and actions on us, so what is his range? I don't think anybody with a set here is going to put a 3x all in, so I think we get the best hand here. He could have some combo draws, some flush draws, or some 10x, just want to deny my 2 overs equity, something like that. So we put in a call, hijack folds, we agree to run it twice. First run out comes the 9 on the turn and a 6 of clubs on the river completing the flush. And the second run out is a 7 of spades and a queen of hearts on the river. We table our hand and it shows king jack suited, which is a 2 overs and a flush draws on the flop, so we ending up chopping this one. Next hand here, we open to 25 in the hijack with ace-7 suited. Cutoff and big blind call, so we're 3 ways to a flop of ace-9-3 with 2 clubs. Big blind checks it over in a multi-way pot. I'm betting my good hands and good draws, and I made a mistake here. I check it over because my kicker is not strong, but actually on this kind of board there is a lot of things that I can charge. But anyway, in game I like to check and the cutoff checks it back. Turns a 3 of spades and big blind checks again, and I would like to value bet here. I bet 50 into 72, targeting some flush draws on 9x to call. Probably I can go a little bit bigger to 75, and cutoff and big blind both call. River's a queen of spades. Big blind checks again, so what other range? I think nobody has a good ace here, so most of the time I have the best hands, so my target would be hands like queen x, which is a flush draws hitting a queen on the river, or some 9x. So I would like to go small here, targeting those range, and I bet 75 into 222, but unfortunately they all fold. So the lesson I learned here is is their draws are inelastic on the flop, less inelastic on the turn, and they are not calling $1 more on the river. So actually, even if I have a not that good kicker, I can just charge those draws on the flop and on the turn. And if I think my hand is not strong enough to bet the river, I can just check the river. Big pot alert! Moving on to the next hand here under the gun lanes, and we look down at pocket queens Freddie McCurry in the small blind, and I bump it up to 40. Under the gun calls heads up to a flop of 7-6-3 monotone with 3 clubs. I bet $75 into 80 about the pot size bet. This player is very sticky. He won't fold any pair, any flush draws, so he puts in a call and turns a queen of hearts. Look at that cutie pie. We have the top set now, and I bet $300 into 230. The reason that I choose this big size on the turn because I just don't think this player is going to fold any made hand. He is down a lot. He lost about 2 to 3 buy-ins before this hand, so another buy-in I don't think is a problem to him, and he is just very, very sticky. He thinks for a while and he puts in a call, and rivers a bang! A 6 of diamonds. We have the top full house. The pot is now $800. We got about $650 behind. So how much should we bet? Yeah, I bet $150 into 8. No, I'm just with you. I go all in $650 into 830. He tanks. And finally, he puts in a call. We table a hand and he just mucks. Alright, in this hand, a professional opened to $20 from the cutoff, and we looked at a 10-9 suited on the big blind. We defend, heads up to a flop of King 9-8 rainbow. He bet 20 into 40, a half pot size bet. It's a range bet to me. We got a middle pair here. We're not going anywhere, so I put in a call and turns a 4 of clubs. We check, and he continues to bet 65 into 77. So what is his range? I think if he has some hands like ace queen, ace jack, he may stop betting because he got some showdown value versus like jack 10 or 6-7 or any draws. So I think he got some equity going on here. He can have some king X, he can have pocket aces, and for the bluffs, he is definitely capable of betting queen jack, jack 10. So it's still early for us to fold our middle pair here, so I put in a call and rivers a 10 of hearts. We bing a 2 pair. We check it over to him because I just know he will still bet with his bluffs, and he bets thinly enough with his value. And yeah, he bet pot $210. So now I think it's really close between raising and calling. But in game, I don't really like my move. I just autopilot and snap call on the river. I didn't really consider raising because my instinct just told me to call, and I think it's my leak. I would forbid myself from snap doing any option. I would need to go through every option, fold, raise, or call in any scenario, even if it's obvious. So go back to the hand, we just put in a call and he tables ace king, which is a top pair, and we took this little one down. Next hand here, cutoff open to 20. We looked at a king 8 offsuit on the big blind. We put in a call, heads up to a flop of 10-9-7 with 2 clubs. We check, he bet 15. We haven't opened any straight draw. Not much reason for us to raise here because I don't think this guy is range betting. So I just put in a call and turns a 6 of hearts. We check it over to him and he checks it back. Rivers a 5 of spades. So what is his range? I think he's gonna check back every over pairs on the turn. He can have aces, he can have kings, and given that the frontal flush miss, I think over pairs is calling a very big amount here. So in fact, I went 2x pot, I bet 125 into 67. He put in a call, we table a hand, and we are good again. Huh. Easy money. Second last hand of this session, we opened the $25 with pocket fives in early position. Hijack, cut off, both call, 3 ways to flop of 7-4 deuce rainbow. In the multi-way pot, I'm just betting my good hands and good draws. And on this board, not much reason for us to bet our pocket fives here, so I check it over, hijack checks, and cut off bet 35 into 77. What is his range? He can have some draws like ace 3, ace 5, some one pair type hand like 7x, 4x, betting to deny the equity, something like that. So I like to put in a call, hijack folds, heads up to the turn, which comes 6 of diamonds. We picked up and open at a straight draw now. I check and he bets 75, a half pot size bet. So what is his range? I think when he put in a second barrel here, his range is stronger. He can have some top pair, 7x, some over pairs like pocket 8s, pocket 9s. But our hand is too good to fold now. We picked up some equity, so we put in a call and reverse an ace of hearts. We still check it over to him and he bets $100, 1/3 pot size. So what is his range? I think with this ace arrives on the river, he's not betting his pocket 9s or pocket X anymore, so he gotta have something that is better than an ace, right? Or maybe he just banked an ace on the river with some strict draws like ace 3 and he want to get value from under pairs. But again, triple barrels from recreational players are very underbluffed. He is not bluffing here, so we can call. What about raising? Actually, I think raising would be very interesting. With his size on the river, I don't think he got very strong hand like pocket 7s, pocket 4s, pocket deuces. I think it's a hand that wants to get value from under pairs but not very strong. And this is more thinking recreational players, so if I raise here, the only hands that I'm wrapping is pocket aces. And it feels strange because I didn't check raise the flop. I think he realized that. Don't really think it's good to check raise bluff in this spot, so I elect to just fold. Alright, last hand of the session. If he limps, we ISO to 30 from the hijack with 9-7 suited. If he calls, heads up to a flop of ace queen 9 rainbow. He checks it over. I like to check it back this time and turns a 7 of hearts. We picked a 2 pair. He checks it over again, so what is his range? I think if he has an ace, he will just lead on this turn, so I would like to choose a size to target queen X or some straight draws, so I bet 75 into 62 and he calls. Reverse a deuce of clubs and absolute black. He checks again. The pot is now 212 and he got about $275 effective. So I asked myself, how much would I bet to fold out a queen? I would not bluff here to fold out a queen because the absolute amount is not big. Especially when I choose to check back the flop, he would just think I don't have an ace. So in this scenario, I think it's a very good spot to move all in for value, targeting a queen to call. So I move all in. He thinks for a while, but unfortunately, he finds the fold. Hey guys, today let's rate the games in Florida. First of all, the room type. I played in Sarasota, Orange City, Daytona Beach, and Best Bet Jacksonville. I would say all the rooms had their own style and I love every one of them. So I would give an A to the rooms in Florida. And secondly, the softness of the game. I would also give an A to the games in Florida, but it's a total opposite play pool versus Texas. In Texas, the players are loose, aggressive, but in Florida, they are generally loose and passive. So what should we do? Yeah, just attack them. And the third thing is the reg structure. They take $1 out of $10 pot up to $6 and plus $2 for the jackpot. So I was just treated as $8 flat drop. So similar to LA, and I would give it a B+. So overall, I would give a solid A to the games in Florida. I love playing there. I think it's a very good place to grind. Considering the living cost is relatively low in Florida, it's a good place to play poker. So I hope that helps. See you guys in the next episode. Hey guys, second sessions in the book. Today we do pretty well. I won 1.1k in 5.5 hours. So Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. Now I'm going to the Danny's to enjoy some Oreo milkshake. I'll see you guys in the next session.